Cause it's time to move on now. It's time for murder blues.
Na 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 na. Elmo's World.
Welcome to Murder Moose, part of the Slash and Cast podcast network,
It's in my ass.
with the 4 raccoons.
Yes. Speaking of raccoons, there's a raccoon on TikTok, and her name is Dan. And this woman feeds Dan, and she only has 3 legs, and she's the cutest little
she's
bean, and she's scared of everything. But the woman won't pet her, which is very sweet and respectable. And she's been extra skittish lately, and they couldn't figure out why. And she showed up with her babies.
They have all
This
their
woman
legs.
gives her like a charcuterie board every night, and like all this great stuff.
I still think one of my favorite videos of all time is that like complete redneck sitting on his back porch with like 87 hot dogs and like all the raccoons coming to him, and they're all just fucking morbidly obese, and I'm just like, dude, you are killing these fucking things. But like, I don't think raccoons live that long in the wild anyways, but like, Jesus Christ, I'm like, they all gonna have like,
She only gives her stuff that like wildlife experts have approved. So like she can have dog
Grapes.
treats, she can have grapes, she can have
Yeah.
like very specific things, and so that's what she gives her.
Yeah.
And then cat food, and then
Cotton candy.
Dan the raccoon learned how to operate the automatic dog feeder, because they got
fantastic.
that so that when they were gone or whatever, that they could still feed her. But she figured out that if she reaches up in and pushes a certain sequence of buttons, it'll come out, and it's so cute.
Man, raccoons are really fucking smart. Have you ever seen videos of people who own like try to keep a raccoon?
I work with a guy
domesticated?
that has a raccoon as a pet.
I want a raccoon pet so bad.
They like get into every. You can't have drawer handles because they
Nah.
just or on every drawer.
They're very
they,
smart. Yeah.
They just fucking they cause havoc.
Yeah, he has like a harness and leash for his and everything. And
Hell yeah.
There's places
Brian,
that you can get raccoons from around here, and they're all domesticated and stuff.
Yeah, but they're still raccoons, and they still cause trouble. And if you do live in I know you're a little far south, but like the fat guy with the raccoons on the porch could live by you, just a little too far south because there was a lot of snow in some of those
Probably
videos.
does.
It
I
is.
do have some fat people in my neighborhood, so
Do 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 do. Oh,
yeah,
fuck.
there's some heavy folks in my neighborhood.
So, Ken, I'm glad that you I was watching on Twitter or today, I think it was, or yesterday, and they were like, "Oh yeah, look, there's like a whole group of white supremacist Nazis marching in Tennessee this weekend," and it was I'm like. And then I saw someone going, "Hey, we're all the cops," and then someone goes, "Oh, you can't be 2 places at one time." And I'm like,
That's so
That
true.
seems right.
"Yeah, oh,
So
That
true.
that seems right.
100% is right because
Mhm.
cops are racist. Cops are racist. Cops are.
Let's
racist.
not make that
They
a boppy
are."
song.
I mean,
Yeah, like I do have some friends that are cops. Okay.
okay. Most cops are racist.
I have a friend.
I have a
that's-
nephew that's a cop. I told him I don't like cops.
I mean,
I
so
was
my
like, "You want to be a cop?" He said, "Yeah." And I go, "You want to be a piece of shit?" He's like, "Well, okay." He didn't have an answer for that.
I mean, his answer
He's a good
was
kid. He's still a fucking cop.
Yeah. It's like, man, I can't even say. I had a sentence to compare it to, and I was like, I don't even think I could say that sentence out loud without getting my. I'm like, even I thought my thought process was too far, but it was in comparison. So, it was like, can I downgrade it? Yeah, let's downgrade it. It's like, are there any nice Republicans? I'm sure there's a couple of them, but most likely not. So you just take what I said and just kind of amplify it up a couple steps, and you basically go, yeah, that's what I was thinking. So yeah,
I
So here
got
we
you.
are.
I'm picking up what
Gotcha.
you're laying down.
Yeah. Okay, you
Your
motherfuckers.
violent tossing of that.
How the fuck are you guys? How are you doing? Ken is in the American land for 800 years from now.
America land.
She came
Yeah,
back
see, there's
to
your song right there. There's your
celebrate
song.
America Fuck Yeah Day. She
Oh,
was
yeah.
they're like, you were not allowed in Canada during the 4th of July. You were exported from the
They
country.
did. They forced you to come here and celebrate our Treason Day. Yeah.
Yep. So how's everything going, Ken? I know you've been running around doing a lot and hanging out with your parents and having a good time.
Yeah, we had a blast. We've yesterday we spent the day together. They went furniture shopping and got a crazy amount of new furniture for the house, and then we went and car shopped a little bit to look at cars for me. And then I decided I'm not getting a car this trip because I'd have to drive it all the way back by myself, and that's a really, really long drive. So
From
even though I keep
to
watching the
Canada
one
from
car that I found, and I'm like, but every dealership we went to, like other than the Volkswagen dealership, there were some Jettas that were available that like I could have bought. But every dealership that I went to, every time I found a car that I like fell in love with, they would be like, "Oh no, somebody's buying that right now," or
Yeah,
"Oh
they'd
no,
have
that
to
was on
order you one or
hold,"
some bullshit.
or
Yeah.
like the one car, the first one that like I found that I really loved. My dad walked up and he goes, "If you don't buy this car right now, I'm gonna buy this car," and I was
Ooh.
like, "Oh," and he's like, "I want this car," and I was like, "Well, I mean, I want this car," so we were like, "Well, we'll find out, about a quote and whatever." So I flagged down the guy and he's like, "I think that one's just got sold," and I was like, "Oh," he goes, "Yeah, let me check." He goes, "Someone just bought that for their daughter's first car," and I was like, "Those people that walked in 5 minutes before us?" And he goes, "I can't say." And I was like, "It's that fucking little 16-year-old blonde girl. We'll give you $25 if you let me buy it now." And then another car at the same lot, same situation. Went to another lot, same situation. Went to fucking CarMax, which I am not a huge fan of.
Yeah.
Found 3 cars. And another one of those, my dad was like, "If you don't buy this, I'm buying it." And I was like, "It's a little bit more than I'd like." And he was like, "We need to go find out about this one now." So we walk up and the guy's like, "We don't have a car like that here." And I was like, "I'm sorry." And he goes, "Yeah, we don't have one of those here." And I was like, "It's out on this row towards the back between these two." He's like, "No." And I was like, "Okay, well, I have a picture of it and the sticker, and this is it right here." He was like, "Yeah, that's not here." And I was like, "Okay.
Wow.
I'm really confused." And he goes, "Oh, it's because it's on hold." And I was like, "Oh." So I got home last night and I was like flipping through to see if anybody else had that same car. And it's available on the CarMax website. And I was like, "Fine, I don't need a car. That's
They don't
fine.
want
I don't
want
need
your
a
money,
car.
kid.
I don't need a
They didn't
car.
want they didn't want your hard-earned woman money. That's what
Yeah.
the problem was.
They know they know about your hussy ways, Ken. They know about your
Fucking
hussy ways.
hussy.
Yeah. That's fucking shitty.
It was wild, man. And I, honestly, like I said, I'm kind of glad because I would have had to drive it back. And as much as I would have liked to, so that I could take this and not have to ship it, like that would have been great. But
I think it's gonna cost you about the same as buying a car.
honestly, yeah, to
ship
buy
that
a car or my computer, yes, I think so too.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Well, and Ken, at least this time you would know that you wouldn't have to like smuggle kitties through. Like that was the major problem last time, right? The
Yes.
kitties. Oh, that and your silliness of telling them that you were going to take jobs from Canadians, which they didn't.
I'm just one of the immigrants now, my friends.
I mean,
That's just where we're at in
gotta
life.
run the fuck away. Run away. Brian, how's it going over in Missouri land, Kansas City?
Missouri land is it's not as fun as Missouri land sounds like it should be.
Yeah.
But no, it's I haven't been doing much. Just been working a lot and just kind of paying attention to how my Royals are doing. That's about it. I didn't really anything.
Are they any
I
good
don't
this
think
year?
I watched anything new or anything like that.
I've watched
So,
2 new things. Bada
You watched
boom.
2 new
Actually,
things?
3 since we recorded last. I watched In a Violent Nature, which I generally liked most
Yeah.
of. I think anyone complaining about that movie's like I think only one of the walking sequences was kind of drawn out, but like I really
agree.
did like that movie. Dude, that fucking hook head kill,
The yoga
Hush.
kill. Yeah.
the yoga.
Hush.
No,
Hush.
we're not. I'm not
I'm
ruining
watching
anything.
it. I'm watching it this week for the
I'm not
podcast. Hush your face.
I'm not ruining it for
Shut
you.
your mouth.
I said
Shut-
the cliff
Shut.
one.
Shut.
I'm not-
Shut. I'm
I'm not ruining anything for you, kid.
You could yo
The
call me
cliff.
crazy, but you could just shut up.
Shush.
I could. But okay, that movie was cool. I went and saw Kinds of Kindness, which was fucking wild.
Oh,
And,
is that any good?
It was real good. It's just weird, man. It's that.
Okay.
If you've ever seen surreal movies, like surreal movies are just fucking odd. We talked about Beau is Afraid on here, and Beau is Afraid is surreal. But this was, it's like 3 stories, and they're all fucking wild as shit, and like varying degrees of wild. But I enjoyed it, and it was just a very like it was funny like at certain points that just when they go surreal and it's just like so wild that the whole theater's laughing because of the surrealism. But so I watched that, and then I watched this morning. I saw the TV Glow, which was a wild movie with the kid from Detective Pikachu and Dungeons and Dragons.
It looks pretty good.
It is. It doesn't feel like a horror movie, or it feels more like a horror movie that's more like so like the whole plot involves this kid and this other kid who like are obsessed with this TV show, which I kind of similar to something like Buffy or like Are You Afraid of the Dark or something like that, like more kids horror, and it goes through wild shit, and I'm just like. It's very accessible and like not violent or anything. I don't know if it's like, I don't know. It's A24, right? So like it's also very artsy and whatnot. But yeah, it was kind of an interesting little film and I enjoyed it. So I have watched those 2 things and I've been like, yeah. So, and then obviously this movie we're talking about this week, we're talking about Maxxxine.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Is there anything else you guys watched that are interested in talking about before diving into Maxxxine?
I
No.
watched a few trashy TV shows, but I really haven't had time to watch anything. I've
What
been spending a lot of
Did you
time.
finish Game of Thrones? I can't remember. Did we talk about this yet?
I finished it like last month, I think.
In Canada,
Okay.
right? I assume.
Yeah, I was in Canada.
How bad was the ending, Ken?
What?
I'm sorry your dragon show ended poopy.
The ending makes no sense at all. It doesn't make
What a
any.
shit!
Yep.
It's not about the destination, it's about the journey.
I
that's-
guess.
No,
That's
it was
so
it's-
disappointing.
I would agree if Jamie would have killed Cersei like he was supposed to, and if like the king would have been not Bran because that made no sense. And if
Yeah,
Jon
that was stupid.
Yeah, that's the dumbest part of that whole thing. It's like it because look, okay, this is in the book. Bran like turns into the Raven Prophet dude and like who's like supposed to be stuck in a tree or whatever. And then like but in the no, he comes back and I'm gonna be king. It's like what? Like it doesn't make any fucking sense. And it's like I said, that motherfucker has no idea what he's doing with those books and why they're not written and why they're like the last 2 books were like one book split into 2 books. You just go, this motherfucker is lost and like has over convoluted everything to himself and has no idea what the fuck he's doing. And that's why the last book came out in 2011. And you go, yeah. And you can see he gave him a layout and it's just like that last season just fucking crashed and like face planted hard.
That's what all my friends say.
Yeah. I mean, you can see Ken rolled her eyes harder than I think I've ever seen Ken roll her eyes. If you're not watching the video form when we asked her about that. So yeah, it is. Yeah. And that's why I haven't touched House of Dragons. I'm like, yeah, I don't, yeah. I don't need to. I've had my hopes and dreams crushed by the show once. I don't need to do that again. It would be like if they made a spin-off of Lost. I'd be like, nope, don't need to see that again. I'm good. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. So yeah. So yes, go see Kinds of Kindness. It's really wild and crazy. It's probably out of theaters already because
Is it on the level as Beau is Afraid? Because I don't think I could do another Beau is Afraid.
it's
Is it
surreal.
easier to swallow since it's 3 different stories?
Yeah, the stories are easy to follow. They're just weird as fuck. Like the 3 stories are very much like it's all William Dafoe, Emma Stone, and the kid from Breaking Bad, who's always really good. Who is starting to look more and more and more like Matt Damon as the days go by. Just like more gingery Matt Damon. It's like there are shots in that movie where you're just like, what the fuck? And yeah, but I think it's worth the experience. It's a little less than 3 hours, but it's easier to take for the ADHD because they're basically hour chunks of film. So yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So okay. Oh, and with that, let's dive into the conclusion of Ty West's Maxxxine X. I think I don't know.
Trilogy, yeah,
X trilogy, something like that. I don't know if it has an official name, but yes. Which came out on Friday, so we're recording this on Sunday. I don't know if there are preliminary estimates. Ken, did you find anything about how much they expect the movie to make this weekend?
So far they're looking at 7.8 million is what they're looking at domestic and international as of today.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw a lot of people on that beats most of the horror movies we've covered this year, like for opening weekends. But like I was in a row by myself with like 2 other people. There were probably 20 people in my theater, and I'm just like, and I saw a bunch of people tweeting out on Friday that they were in empty theaters to see it, and I'm like, damn, man, it just like.
The theater I saw it in, so I saw it in the really small, like culty theater in Knoxville. It's called Central Cinema. It's in like the worst part of Knoxville, like to the point that my dad like currently is tracking some of my like movements for whatever, and he was like, "Are you okay? The car has not moved in 3 hours," because I'd gone to eat across the street. But anyway, this theater is great. It's relatively small. I think maybe 50 people could fit in it, and it was packed. Like it was completely sold out. But I also got to see it on Wednesday. So I got to see it a day early.
Oh, nice.
Well, I guess 2 days early.
Yeah.
And I had a blast.
Did you? Okay, Ken, whenever you go to scary neighborhoods, make sure you wear high heels and carry a gun because Jesus Christ. I think that
it brings a whole new expression to face down, ass up.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's so good.
they showed too much and like,
No, I'm glad they showed as much as they did.
I mean, so we talked about Maxxxine and Pearl. I still think X is the best movie of the trilogy. I probably think it's the release order is the order I like them the best too. It's probably X, then Pearl, and then this Maxxxine. But I did really enjoy this. I think it was. I heard you talking about the ending, and someone else in your chat this morning talking about the ending, and I want to talk about that, but not yet because I'm like. I don't know. I called it right before she opened the door, so it wasn't like I really called it. But
well, before we go in,
yes.
Let me just throw the summary at you. In 1980s Hollywood, adult film star and aspiring actress Maxxxine Minx finally gets her big break. But as a mysterious killer stalks the starlets of Hollywood, a trail of blood threatens to reveal her sinister past.
I have a couple of statements. One, Maxxxine is not a very likable character, and I don't think she's supposed to be because it's that thing where she does whatever the fuck she wants to.
I felt like she was likable, but
I don't. Maybe there's a perspective of like men and versus women. I don't know. It's like I think that I mean, Ken, you probably have a way different perspective. I mean, you're a woman doing Who Makes a Living, creating content and everything like that. I think that there's a thing where it's like that, like, I don't know. It's that I'll do anything to get over, which is the overarching, like I will not accept the life that I'm destined
That I do
for.
not deserve.
Yeah, that I do not deserve. Yeah, and you're just like, oh, okay. But 2, fucking Kevin Bacon being creepy as shit is.
Oh, he was so good.
I think he's the best part of that fucking movie, and his weird pimp teeth that he's got in. Like
Wait, but think about this. Think about the missed opportunity to have Johnny Depp play his Tusk character instead of Kevin Bacon. So many missed opportunities just down the drain.
Nobody wants a Looney Tune.
All because of
character.
Amber Heard. Sorry.
Nobody wants a Looney Tune character in their Maxxxine
In their Maxxxine movie.
No, nobody.
Keep your Looney Tune character out of my Maxxxine movie, buddy.
Also, the director in this film is is one of those women that pulls off that really short hair. She's like gorgeous. Like I think she's a really pretty lady, and pulls off that short haircut really well. I have other questions that I think I could talk about before we go into it. Though, okay, Brian's old. Maybe he can answer this question.
Wow.
The Pete
Speak up,
things.
Sonny. Theaters.
So the Pete Booth things, I don't understand them because I never obviously I think they're not something that hits
Wait a
up.
second. How old do you think Brian is?
That was more of a joke.
know.
That was a joke, Ken.
Okay.
I was just making fun of Brian. That wasn't. I didn't really think he could
okay.
answer that.
My bad.
Oh, it's okay now. It's okay now. You were just making fun of me. Okay.
I mean, I think the only time a Pete Booth has come up in a podcast that we've done on this thing, Brian, did you do that with me when we did the Howling?
You and I have never gone to a Pete booth together. Okay, Rod? If that's the question that you're asking.
Did we do the Howling together,
If I was
Brian?
to go
Brian.
to a Pete booth with someone, you would be the first person I'd go with. But
did we talk about the Howling together on this podcast? Was that me and you?
Did we talk about the Howling?
Yeah.
We talked about it, I think, on it was either on this one or my old one.
I think we did,
talk
and
about it.
I think that that movie has that opening scene.
It's got a
with Pete
peep
Booth.
show thing
Yeah.
too. Yeah, it does.
I just don't understand with the one way or the see-through glass is one-way glass or whatever to you can't see, but I don't understand how you're performing. I guess you're just kind of doing your thing, but how do you know if they just get up and walk away or some shit like that?
It's the same thing as if you're doing a cam show. It's the same thing as if you're doing photos for OnlyFans or Fansly, right? You don't know what they're doing. Yeah. I have
you give it everything you got
on Twitch anymore
until you're done.
What?
I say you give it everything you got until you're done. And
exactly. I've got an acquaintance who used to stream on Twitch who doesn't anymore. And one time he was streaming, he got a Snapchat video. He opened it, and it's a guy just watching his stream and just jerking it hard, making all kinds of faces. And he was like, this is the shit that goes on. So if you're performing in some other way, again, just like in a cam show, you don't know who's out there. You don't know what they're doing. They might be ripping the thing off, and it might be your daddy. You don't know.
It wasn't her daddy. I mean, it was Maxxine's daddy, but yeah, it's that thing where it's
that was her daddy.
It wasn't her.
Yeah, but that wasn't Maxxine dancing.
That wasn't Maxxine dancing. Yeah, it was her friend.
That was her friend
with the short hair.
Yeah.
I thought it was Maxxine wearing a wig. Okay,
no,
my bad.
No. It was one of the two friends that got murdered that pulled up in the lake. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I mean, not that the dad had any morals with fucking around with. I mean, obviously he'd been watching Maxxine's fucking pornos or some shit. It's it was weird ass. You're just
who would ever do such a thing?
I don't know, man. I was wondering why they showed the whole the dad at the end of X, and obviously it was setting up for this and whatnot, and I was like, okay, and yeah, but I didn't know about the peep show thing because I was that very odd to me that because I get what you're saying, Ken, about you just go and do whatever, but it's such a smaller scale, right? You're not doing it for people across. You're doing it for one dude who put a couple quarters. What do they put 2 quarters in? You get to see all you want. I don't know how long these things last. I don't know. This was the 80s, so it's
Well, when I
paid
was
by-
growing up,
it's like-
a quarter used to get you a ham sandwich and a cup of coffee.
I
And
thought you were gonna say a hand job.
I mean, it's because you grew up during the Great Depression. Brian.
the great, yeah, exactly, yeah.
It's kind of like those car washes, right? Where like you go in, you put in like your minimum of $2, and you get so much water, and you spray your car and foam and whatever. Or
So-
you get
but-
so much time. So the way that they work is that you would put in like a quarter, 2 quarters, whatever,
and then you spray your foam
and
again.
then it would slide down, and then you could put more money in, and it would go back up.
You spray your foam again, though. You keep spraying your
You
foam.
spray your foam all over the window.
Yeah.
Dude, I still think cleaning up those booths would be one of the worst jobs of all time.
I want to say that was one of the jobs for Joaquin Phoenix's character in the movie 8mm, if memory serves me correctly.
There's
He was
another
talking
movie
about
where
having to
somebody
clean
has
and
to do
shit
that.
off the fucking things and all that shit.
Dude, I saw that movie way too young, and I think I was
8mm?
15. Yeah, I was like
Yeah.
15. I think it might have traumatized me a little bit. This is why I am this way 25 years later. I think so. Yeah. Dude, by the way, Long Legs is coming out next weekend, and
Yeah.
and it's supposed to be amazing. So I really want to see that. That was the one where you called Brian. I know Ken called it. Did you call the phone number they had for Long Legs?
I did not. No, I did
Oh!
not.
I did not call it. I listened to somebody else who had pre-recorded it or had recorded it and posted it on Twitter.
I don't think I heard one word. Like I understood one Nicolas Cage word in that whole fucking phone call. It was just like, what the fuck is this person saying? And it was creepy, but I was like, I didn't.
One time,
understand it.
Samuel L. Jackson called me,
What?
and he told me to go see Snakes on a Plane.
Oh,
Yeah,
Dude,
there was a
now-
thing
okay.
you could sign up for, and you could
Yeah.
put the number in, and they would call you, and then you typed in the name. Like,
Yeah.
my buddy Sean did that to me. I was at work, and all of a sudden I had his phone number. I was like, "Who the fuck is this?" And I answered, he's like, "Hey, Brian, it's Samuel L. Jackson." And I was like, "What the fuck is happening right now?"
dude, all that. Okay, now I got a side story because you guys reminded me. Like on Wednesday at like 5 o'clock in the morning, I get a blocked number calling my phone, and I reject it because I'm like, what the fuck, and I just block it. Called me between then and like 9:30 that morning, called me 15 times, and it was a guy, and I don't know why he kept calling me because he obviously wasn't listening to my voicemail, calling for Adriana about why she dumped him and like how he was like gonna put his dog or cat down, and there was a whole fucking story that like I was kind of I would have answered it. I was kind of hoping to get the end of the story through these voicemails, but I didn't get the whole voice the whole story.
Did you the last one? You finally realized you called the wrong number or something?
No, I mean
No.
I don't know. His last one. Let me see. His last voicemail was. I'm gonna read you. This is the last. This is the last one. This is of all the voicemails. Hey, Janet. I don't know where Janet gets into it because I didn't actually listen to it, but I'm going to tell you one more thing. At some point, I got to put Molly down today. I'm just heartbroken, but everything I've done, and I miss you, and I love you. I know I ain't going to work, but I just got to tell you that I really appreciate everything you did for me, too. Thank you. Be running into each other something. Just don't be rude to me, and I won't be rude. Okay, give me the chance. Just give me a call, please. Thank you. That was like, I had a
Or
whole
Molly.
yeah, but it wasn't. It was Adriana and I don't fucking know what that was. It was a weird fucking experience. But yeah, that sort of reminded me.
I had that happen in high school for a while. I had somebody that would call my phone from a blocked number starting at like 3:30 until 7:30 in the morning, to the point that I could not make a call. And it went on for like a year. Like they would do it for a few days, and then they would stop, and then they would do it for a few days, and they would stop, and then I'd get a week of reprieve, and then they would start. It was horrible. I finally changed my number because I was like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, that was crazy, man. I was
It
just
wasn't
like,
even a year that we let it
Well,
go
dude,
on. We changed it.
this dude was either I sounded a little drunk or not sober, and I'm like, you hear my name, it's a dude talking, and I know I don't have the most masculine voice of all time, but I'm just like, Jesus Christ, dude, do you get any idea? You're just so fucked up that you can't even listen. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And obviously he didn't want her to know it was him because he kept blocking his number every single time. How do you block your number in 2024? I don't even know how you block your number on a cell phone or something.
I
like
think
that.
it's still
how to do
star
that. It's pretty
67.
easy.
Is it? I don't know. I
You
just
gotta block a number. It's super easy.
do you
I
like
have my previous co-host blocked.
Oh,
No,
I meant-
like to block it so that your caller ID doesn't show up.
Oh, I don't know.
Like how we
That's-
used to start 67.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I didn't know. But yeah, so Maxxxine takes place in what 85, so like
Yeah, I think it said 85.
6-ish years after the X was 79, was it, or was it 78? It was
I
one of
think
those
it
things.
was. Yeah,
I
I
want to
can't-
say it said 5 years later, but I could be wrong.
It had to
Something like
because
that.
X was in the 70s, so it had to have been at least 6 years. But yeah, the like the thing that I don't get, and this is a like the only thing that like obviously she should have stuck around and like whatever the cops and told them what happened, but like I don't think she did anything all that wrong besides maybe running the old lady's head over. That bitch was gonna die anyways, so I think it was probably a mercy to run her head over with a truck. But and this takes place during the the Night Stalker, which is a crazy story. If you like, how they always talk about serial killers just being like really smart individuals. The dude who was the Night Stalker, he was just fucking. That dude was on meth or what? PCP, I think.
Yeah,
or
Richard
something.
Ramirez.
Yeah,
is-
he was fucking nuts, and like. The reason it took so long to catch him is he was the most random motherfucker in the world, and obviously LA is a huge city. He would just break into random houses. It wasn't like there was any patterns like to him that kind of why. And I think he broke into a house that was aware or awake and waiting for him or on the awareness because of him. And they chased him down or something. I think that he got I watched the documentary about it. I think the police might have figured out who it was and put out a bolo, and I think a neighborhood tackled him, a bunch of people. In
Yeah,
the
the neighborhood did corner
Yeah.
him and take him down.
that's
They
what
held
happened.
him.
Yeah. Which they talk about at the end of the movie a little bit because it's supposed to be taking place at the exact same time. And it is Maxxxine who, as she goes in and she's trying to transition. I think she says during her audition that she's gonna be 33.
Yeah, she's 33.
Yeah, and I don't know, how old is Mia Goth? Is she about that age?
Let me see.
No.
She's a very pretty lady, but she's a very
She's 30.
she's 30.
Yeah.
She's a very unique looking woman, right? She's got
I think she's stunning.
Yeah, I think she's gorgeous.
I'm not saying that's why I said she's a very pretty lady, but she's not
Yeah.
she's got a unique look and the freckles and everything like that. And also she has crazy eyes, which is why she does she has the capability of putting on crazy eyes because she's such a good actress. And she's trying to transition from doing in between X and this movie, she started doing porn and she's stripping and doing peep shows, I think also it seemed like.
I thought you said scripting, and I was like, what the fuck is scripting?
I don't know. It would be something new that I'm not into. And when I'm not into something, it's weird. No, I'm just kidding. But, and what happens is that someone starts killing her friends. They kill her 2 stripper friends. They kind of see at the beginning of the movie. Also, man, that fucking house that you need a trolley to get up to is fucking wild, man.
Right? And I like that she's sneaking around because, nobody's going to notice the trolley going
Yeah.
up. It was very reminiscent of, what's the name of the game where you make your decisions and it's
Until Dawn.
Yes, it reminded me of that.
Yeah. There's an
Me
Until
too.
Dawn movie coming out, by the way.
There
you know
is.
that? Yeah.
They're also remaking it for the PC.
I don't know, man. That game holds up. I just think it's the you need it to remake it.
They
because
need
of the
to,
motion controls and shit.
Yeah, they have to adapt it because of the uniqueness of the PlayStation
Yeah.
controller.
I really like that one and the other one that came out a couple years.
Quarry?
What?
The Quarry?
Yeah, I like that one too. The werewolf things.
Yeah.
I think I lost one character and it kind of got sad, but
I haven't finished my playthrough of that. I
It
need
doesn't
to.
take that long, Brian.
I know, but I've only played it for not even 2 hours the one time, and then I've just never picked it back up.
Also, I think my favorite character in this movie was the black guy who worked at the video store, who best friend,
Yeah.
and
Dude, can we talk about his moment in the store when the guy is in there and like cuts him from the back? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
dude,
Dude.
I have become so scared for my neck between watching Game of Thrones and like movies recently. Like,
Yeah.
your neck is so susceptible. Like, oh, you cut your arm, ooh, it gets cut off. But no, you just
Yeah. Dude.
But the from behind, like, cutting, not even. It's just, oh no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to say, because then I want to talk about the guy who tried to jump her, but that was the most like 80s kill I think I've ever seen, and like like even the blood in that scene looked like 80s. Like, was that, or was that just me? Did like it looked like it was like the
Oh no,
color?
they did a good job of doing like the very vibrant.
Yeah.
There's definitely influence from
Like giallo films
fucking-
kind of stuff like that.
yes, which is ironic
Mhm.
because I don't like those.
Yeah. I mean, I like some of them. Others, I mean, we did a few.
Very
of
hit or
them.
miss for me.
Yeah.
We did a whole kick of those for a while.
Yeah, we did like 3 or
here.
4 of them. That poor dude, and then like he cuts his eye with like, and it's all with that Rambo knife, and it's just like, yes, you know what? It's funny because this is the kind of thing you expect in the real world. It's like this motherfucker preaching all this like the bullshit, and then he's like clarified himself as like, or like in his own head clarified himself as like God's warrior of like whatever, very much like kind of like the guys in Dog. Oh, also now you remind me. Dogma has been bought from the Weinstein Company. They're going to be re-releasing it, and I'm fucking stoked.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
This last week.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep. I'm very excited. I saw something.
Yeah, I know
that.
a lot of people have been wanting a new release of that, and it's out of
Yeah.
print everywhere. Like you
Yeah.
can't find it on any media
Because
at all.
The
You gotta get
Weinstein.
lucky at like
yeah,
a vintage stock or something.
yeah. I have a DVD copy of it, but like, yeah, you can't have it. Like, you can't buy a new one. There's no Blu-rays, any of that shit. You're just like,
Yeah.
fuck.
Yeah.
Okay, so the poor black kid getting killed was my favorite character who worked at a video store, and I think they were friends because his video store was right below her apartment. The guy who tried to jump Maxxine, who was dressed
That
up
was
like
the best fucking scene
why okay,
ever.
why was he dressed up like Charlie Chaplin? I'm not exactly sure what the fuck was happening.
Who
in that.
cares?
Yeah, so if you haven't seen it or whatever, he tries to jump Maxxine with a fucking like switchblade, which ends up being the switchblade that she uses at the end of the movie, right?
Think
She pulls out a gun, makes him strip down, and in one of the most hard to watch scenes I think I've ever watched in all of horror, proceeds to stomp on his balls with a fucking high-heeled boot, and
Oh,
they
yeah.
show so much of it.
they show
They
balls.
showed everything. It was fantastic.
I-
It was worse than like I spit on your grave. Like, it was
Dude,
bad.
It
I was here for it.
I was not expecting it, and I was just like, it's one of those things where you're just like, it's like you internally like picture what's happening and go, and then yeah, and I'm just like, I've been traumatized. I have been traumatized. So yep, and it was, and yeah, that's what happened, and it scared me. And that guy, the guy deserved it for sure, but like, because there's 2 cases in this film where she gets the jump on someone and proceeds to fuck him up, and I'm just like, because she could have perfectly just like, like tied him up or had him tie himself up, and like no, she was like, no, I'm just gonna do this herself, which is very much it was like one of those running theories in this movie that Maxxine will do whatever to like, get ahead and get by. And that was the perfect example. She was just like, I'm not like, she didn't want to deal with cops as the cops came to her after her friends got killed, and was like, I don't speak to cops. And she's like, oh.
Well, she says, what does she say when they say, well, she's like, well, what am I supposed to do? And she's like, well, why don't you help us save the next victim? And then she says, well, maybe they need to save themselves. So that's kind of her mantra. You need to take care of yourself. You need to save yourself.
I mean,
Yeah.
she was the like lone survivor of the first one, even with like baby Jenny Ortega in that movie. Like that was like the first thing I think I saw Jenny Ortega in was X, and then
Well, backing up just a little bit, at the beginning, you had mentioned something about like why would she have been in any trouble for what happened during X, and like all she did was run over the woman. Nobody's gonna the only video evidence that they have is her causing all this harm, so they're
Yeah.
gonna assume that it's her. Sorry, I meant to mention that earlier and I zoned
mean,
out somewhere.
did they have any video of her causing the harm though?
Yeah,
Like-
there was on the tape.
I thought the tape was just her the sex from the.
It was the sex, and then it was her shooting the old woman.
I thought that was just her. No, that was just her flashback in her head.
No, it was on the tape.
No, because how would they have recorded it? They weren't shooting the.
It
That
was
was
a-
just like the
he was
movie.
recording during that situation, or the camera was in the room during that situation whenever she shot him
Oh.
or shot her. He didn't, or there wasn't any recording of her running over the head. But I feel like I don't think I'm wrong on this one. I'm pretty
Maybe.
sure that was part of the recording. 'Cause
I
it was on
just-
the tape.
Because at that point, everyone else was dead besides her, the old lady, and Jenny Ortega, right? Like, and then like she shot. Did she shoot Jenny Ortega? Is that what happened? I don't know. But like,
She got shot, presumably by the husband
yeah, who died of a heart attack, right? Like,
who died of a heart attack.
Yeah. And dude, I still think one of my favorite scenes in this whole trilogy was the old lady trying to shoot Maxxine and just flying like
Yeah,
5
that was
feet.
fucking hilarious.
Yeah. And then she just like runs her over, and it's just like, dude, they fucking do some brutal head smashes in these movies, because between that one and then like that with the because Almo had the like previously on, like were they showing what happened in X, and that head explosion, I was like, damn, I forgot how like her running over the old lady's head, or running her own head over, because she was the old lady, which was the oddest thing. And
Yeah.
I haven't watched X since then, and I'm like, oh, I didn't know that one the first time I watched it, and I'm like, fuck, so I have to rewatch it. But yeah, it is between like, so her friends get killed by her own dad because he is a crazy religious nut, which I mean, obviously you figure out at the end of the movie, but like, and he like brands them. Dude, I think getting branded like that with like a pentagram or whatever would be the worst thing ever. And I don't want, because I don't know about you guys, like getting burnt is one of the worst things that like you could happen in like normal everyday, like, oh, I burnt myself. It's just like, because it just doesn't go away forever, it feels like. So like getting branded with a pentagram seems like a pretty bad time. So I don't know. What do you, Brian?
I was just laughing. Seems like a pretty bad time to me.
But man, so when did you guys figure out it was her dad? I mean, is there like a point that you like, or were you like me, where
Honestly,
like before she opened the
when
door?
they revealed it for me
Yeah.
The
for
end
some
of
reason.
X.
Do what?
They show it in X.
I know, but like, when did you realize it was the dad killing everyone?
Oh, yeah, not till they revealed it.
So
Yeah.
it was right before the door opened. I was like, oh, it's got to be her dad, the one doing it, because it was like the only thing that made sense at that point. But like,
Yeah.
it's like maybe 20 seconds before he pops up on the screen, and
Yeah.
I felt like I was going to a Ghost concert at that point, Brian, with all the dudes
Yeah.
with the like the fucking the crosses on their
Yo,
faces. Lucifer, dude. If you don't know Ghost, he is one of the weirdest songs of all time, because it's like this passionate love song, and then you figure out they're singing about how much they love Satan. It's like, well, it's like, okay, I dig it. I just not what I expected, right? So it's very much like, yeah,
It was a good fucking band right there, I tell you.
yeah. Tell you
Yeah.
right there. Tell
I tell
you.
you. I'll tell you in my old man way that's a good fucking band right
Don't
there.
have a heart attack like the old man from Max, Brian.
Yeah.
You've watched so many shows.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
I started watching them when they were a nickel. When they raised them to a quarter, I said, hell no, I'm not.
Brian's like, I will jerk off in my own living room, and
Yes,
I
I've
will
got enough
save my
memories.
quarters.
I got a lot of memories up here.
Oh man. Oh shit. Yeah. So then so I don't know how the cops associated Maxine their friends. I don't like just the cops. The cops had like a Rolodex where they're like, oh yeah, this person's friends. Like how do you like? Were they just like tell someone must have like at the strip club or someone might have pointed them to Maxine. I guess I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah.
Because they all worked at the same strip club, so they probably were like, okay, let's canvass all the rest of the dancers and talk to them and see if they know anything.
Yeah.
Normal cop work.
Yeah.
I like the cops they got because I like that Bobby Cannavale.
Yeah.
And I like Michelle Monaghan. I thought that was one thing that actually impressed me about this movie was the cast.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the cast is great.
And it's awesome with Kevin Bacon. And everything. I was like, holy shit. Because I did not
still
know.
disappointed that that's not Johnny Depp.
Yeah. I didn't know that that Kevin Bacon was even in this at all. I had no idea.
I think I knew because like I'd seen something about it, and then like the like Alamo don't talk thing beforehand was Kevin Bacon yelling at the audience, and so it was.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. About like as a cop, and they're like, he's like, I'm gonna arrest you if you talk to in this film, and they're like, but you're not a real cop.
They should have got Steven Seagal to do that then. Hey, I'm gonna arrest you.
Nobody wants to give that Russian-loving motherfucker any money.
No.
Doesn't he live in Russia, Moscow or something?
I don't know, but he used to be a cop in Alabama.
Yeah,
he was like a honorary cop.
Yeah, deputy. Yeah, or something like that. Yeah. Dude, the whole kills in this, like, this movie actually wasn't all that violent outside of the couple of like really crazy scenes, like the ball stomping, and then like the black guy getting murdered was the other one that was pretty brutal. Cause like the rest of the stuff really, I guess, dude, Kevin Bacon getting fucking like car crushed was pretty fucking like I was sitting there, I was like, cause that whole setup, right? Where they're like Carlos, is it Carlos like what the fuck is his name?
Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, Giancarlo
Esposito.
His haircut was so 80s. It was fucking lovely,
gorgeous, and I'm getting mine styled into that, like 100%.
He just pulls it off so well, and you're like, that motherfucker. You know what's funny is like he's like, I'm tired of playing villains, and he was kind of a bad guy in this. Like he was her agent, so he was a bad guy.
Yeah.
And then he's like gonna be in the new Captain America movie. He's playing a villain. And like, you're like, oh, what does this guy do? He's just back to playing villains everywhere. He wanted to play Magneto or Xavier, and obviously they didn't let him.
Years ago, my wife processed his tax return.
Did she?
Yeah.
Nice.
Which used to work for the IRS.
Yeah. But that car, I was like, oh man, that's a horrible way to die. You're just like. It probably wouldn't go on very long, but like you're just sitting there and like, oh yeah, I'm being crushed alive like a fucking watermelon.
Did you see that they definitely went to the school of Mary Lou to chicken poo when with the blood coming out of the bottom because there's so much blood.
Oh, there was so much blood.
That fucking car. It was so much.
There's a kill in Prom Night 2 where a character gets into a locker and she like psychic power crushes her like she's Carrie, and there's just like it's not even blood, it's like pink goop that like pours out of the locker. Yeah. And Brian wanted you to watch that movie, and then you couldn't even. You were too busy traveling.
Yeah, you really need to watch Prom Night 2.
Mary Lou 2, boo hoo foo.
Yeah,
shoo.
Prom Night 2, Mary Lou hoo boo.
Yep.
But
Kevin Bacon is fucking so despicable in this movie, and you have to love him because he's got those weird teeth, and he's just that shitty private detective.
He's got those weird teeth.
Well, he's got like 3 like silver teeth in his mouth that makes him look like or were they say gold? I don't. God damn it, Ken. God damn it. So Ken, I have to ask. You said you couldn't find the budget of this film, right?
Right.
Did you find any cool
$86 in a case of Natty Light?
You find any cool? I was like saying that I thought it was cool that his fiance is in this movie, and I don't know. I don't think she was in the background. Alice in Wonderland is a like EDM kind of artist who like tours. It's pretty big when she takes out Red Rocks and shit like that. So, and she was in it somewhere. I don't know where, but Yeah. Did you find any other cool facts of this movie, Miss Kin?
This one isn't related to anything that I found, but the person that I went to see this with made a really interesting point. So they are obsessed with the 80s, everything the 80s, really into like Judas Priest and everything.
Yeah.
And there is the song that plays when they're rolling her friend out of the video store, when they find him that he's dead.
Yeah.
Apparently, that song was written in the late 80s, but not released until the 90s. And he was very excited to let me know that factoid. So that's something fun.
Dude, the black guy had all the 80s metal shirts on. He had a
he had a
Priest.
battle vest kind of thing going there.
Yeah.
Judas Priest on it.
Dude, I want to know what he did because he goes like his last line before he got.
I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, it's like, was he a gay prostitute?
Oh, he sucked dick.
You think so?
Well, I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
It was obvious to me. I don't know.
Ken, are you in the video store right now? Like, I hear beeping as the door's opening.
I apologize.
No, I was like very accurate because you're talking about a video store and like.
It's our alarm system.
Oh, okay. I was just like, I want to make sure I'm not hearing things. Is really what the point of that was.
I'm in the video store sucking.
I
don't do that anymore.
I don't judge, Ken. So you whatever makes you happy, my friend.
Whatever creams your Twinkie.
That's right.
What's a girl? No, what would a girl Twinkie be?
Is it time to have the talk, Rod?
No, I'm just I'm saying, if a Twinkie is a penis, what would the equivalent vagina be? A taco? I mean, Choco Taco.
A ho-ho? No, those are boobies.
Yeah, I don't know. Ken is
What?
a ho-ho. Ken is a ho-ho.
I am.
So, okay, let's talk about the ending before we wrap up because, like, I want to know why, like, obviously Ken was talking about this. What upset you about the ending, Ken?
They had so many options to go with this. Like, it would have been so beautiful to end it on the walkway, like when she's doing her whole like, yes, it's me, blah blah blah. Like, that would have been a great ending. But the thing on set was just so weird and just felt so meh. And my friend that I went with said that it felt to him that they had like two different endings shot and decided they just didn't want to cut either of them, so they found a way to make them both work.
Yeah.
But I didn't like. I felt like it could have gone so many other ways, and I don't know. It was just weird.
Well, it's weird because it was that her on like walking to the red carpet premiere was a dream sequence, right? And which I was like, why are you having a dream sequence here at this point, and then like cutting back to the thing, and like that helicopter would have shot her. She would have been dead.
Yeah.
Like, that was the only issue I had with that. Like, they were like, put your weapons down, and then she shoots her father in the head with this sawed-off shotgun, and it's like, I know this dude had killed at least one cop and really fucked up another one, but like, they don't know who Maxxine was. Like, there was like, I was like, why? She waited like an hour and a half to shoot his head off, and it's just like, and he was dying anyways. That dude was fucked up. He had gotten shot, and if not, he would have gone to prison or whatever. And I don't know, maybe because the problem is, and this is the problem with like any kind of like incident like this, like, is when you have someone who gets to talk about it afterwards, like when they're crazy, especially like her dad was, he's just gonna spout more like shit and probably get more fanaticism, like, fanatical people come into him. So like, he probably should have died, but it was just like, maybe you shouldn't have taken so long. Maybe you shouldn't have, like, dude, that motherfucker was like as a priest had a higher body count than most serial killers in movies. I'm like, this motherfucker's like killed like how many
putting
people?
in work, man.
Yeah.
Dude,
that, and you have your
twerking
cult.
for Jesus, as they would say.
yes,
Twerking for
that
Jesus.
is what they say.
But
Yeah.
like, he's got his like thing where he's got his ghost members in their
The ghouls.
the ghouls.
Okay,
the
they're called ghouls.
They're all dressed up like choir boys
Yes.
with sawed-off shotguns in their pants, and you start going, okay. Brian, did you have any like? What was your feelings on the ending sequence of this film?
My feelings about the movie overall, honestly, was I just thought it was okay.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. I didn't hate it by any means. I think it's a good movie. It is to me, it's clearly the weakest entry out of
Yeah.
the three. I actually tend to lean more towards Pearl personally,
Yeah.
if I was to watch them, but we're literally splitting hairs between X and Pearl because I think both of those movies are amazing.
Yeah.
But this is it was okay. It was fine. I think the story was a little kind of all over the place. I don't really know that he had a clear vision for what to do in this movie ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't really think that he
I-
did. But what I do love about the movie is aesthetically, it's very pleasing to the eyes.
Oh yeah.
It captures the '80s vibe and the everything about the '80s, which the '80s was the decade of excess, you know.
Yeah.
And it very much feels like it pulls you right into the '80s, and
Yeah.
it does it fantastically. And then there were some really, really, really cool kills. And Mia Goth is always great. She's just a really, really, really good actor. But honestly, overall, I just thought the movie was fine.
Yeah.
I thought it was fine.
I think that he had her dad comes and fucks up shit kind of idea because of that. That's why they showed her dad at the end of the X, right?
At the end
But
of X, yeah.
But like, yeah, I think you're right. I think that everything else that filled out was like very much like, I don't know. It was like the tone of the film felt a little weird at times. Like it was like almost kind of like a mockumentary about like the Night Stalker kind of thing, right? Just with like horror movie elements and all the shit and her father and stuff like that. I thought it was good. Don't get me wrong, but like, yeah, it wasn't. I think the other two were better, and this was like the weakest link, like I said earlier. But I still enjoyed the heck out of it, and
Yeah,
had
I
a good
did
time
too.
watching
I
it.
certainly did.
But yeah, it. I mean, those two movies were shot back to back, so you kind of know it was like he had this whole idea where he set up like Pearl doing everything, and like that whole like. And like no one even knew he did that one, right? Knew he did Pearl.
Oh, you're
right?
talking about X and Pearl?
Yeah.
Because those were shot back to back,
Yeah,
pretty much.
and
Yeah.
and X kind of even came out of nowhere, and then Pearl definitely came out of nowhere, right? And like,
Yeah, because X had just come out, and all of a sudden, oh, by the way, you're getting a prequel movie in like 2 fucking months or some shit. And I was like, what
Yeah.
the fuck?
Yeah.
And then it turned out to me, for me personally, I think Pearl's even better than X. But that's just like I said, I think they're both amazing movies.
Dude, I think Ken and I talked about this when we talked about Pearl. That fucking like monologue at the end, and then like
that is
her,
unreal.
And then her staring into the camera.
Monologue, it felt like I feel like they almost did that in like one take, it seemed. And that's like it was absolutely amazing.
It was a single take.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And God, Mia Goth is so fucking good. She's also such a good actor.
Fun random fact, just because we had discussed this, I think last week, but Mia Goth was married to Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah.
And is now married to Shia LaBeouf again as of 2020.
I saw that, yeah.
Dude, I thought that was really interesting.
I wonder if they met. Did they meet on the set of Nymphomaniac? Because that's like where she made her acting debut.
Oh, was that where she came from?
They got married in 2012. So,
did they actually get married, or are they just partners? Because I thought that they were just partners.
They were married. I think that they're married again. Oh, nope. Looks like they filed for divorce as of May 20th. I don't know.
Those two's crazy. Probably bounced off of each other, and it was a wild ride, I assume, because Shiloh was fucking nuts, and she seems like she's eccentric. So it's like, they're very much like both kind of. It seemed like methody kind of actors too. So it's like you get just a wild fucking experience. I didn't know those two were married. That's fucking wild.
Yeah, I thought they were just I didn't know they were married. But
cool. Yeah, I think, Ken, what is your ranking of the three movies?
I think probably Pearl for just how unnerving it was, And I mean, we've talked about this numerous times on the show. I have this whole thing about, if I was born in that time frame, I probably wouldn't have made it out alive because there's
Yeah.
no mental health help. And I mean,
Yeah.
obviously she's broken and
Yeah.
well, not broken. She needs help.
Yeah.
And like that's why Smile fucked me up really bad too.
Yeah.
So I think Pearl from an unnerving standpoint. And then if I was going to tell people to watch them, personally, I would watch Pearl X and then Maxxine, even though a lot of people would say watch X, Pearl, and then Maxxine,
Yeah.
whatever. But I really loved Maxxine. The ending is what cuts it to behind for me, to the last one for me.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I think, well, the thing is, too, they don't have anything, like, crazy, like, memorable, like, in this film as much. I mean, besides testicles being stomped on.
Testicles? That's not enough for you, Rod.
They don't have, like, her staring at the camera for, like, 2 minutes straight or whatever, during the 5 minutes straight during the credits or anything like that, where she's just like.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Ty West, man, his fucking back catalog is great because, like, The Innkeepers is fucking fantastic. Like, what was the House of the Devil is fucking
House of the
creepy.
Devil, yeah.
Is creepy as shit. So, like,
It's really good.
and he's the one who gets. He's like the first. He's the first one who gets murdered in what the fuck is that movie called? With the wolf mask and shit like that. What the fuck was it called? You're Next. He was the.
Yeah, You're Next.
Also, I kind of want to do this at some point. I know you guys could do because I went to 2 movies in the last week. I saw trailers for the Speak No Evil movie, which is a remake of the Norwegian or something like that, Speak No Evil. And I'm just like, why are they doing this yet again? Even though I think James McAvoy looks creepy as fuck in that movie. You guys know anything about Speak No Evil?
Mm-mm.
So the remake's coming out, but like it's one of those movies that came out last year or 2 years ago that people are like, and like now they have the American version of it coming out. So it's just like, but okay. Do you guys have something you want to watch next week?
I thought we were doing the walkie killer guy movie.
Oh, we could do it in a violent nature. Yeah. I the only thing that I think about is if I don't know how out Long Legs is going to be because I would like to watch the Long Legs. So I don't know.
I'll have to try to get into it this week, which I plan on. So
okay. Maybe we do that next weekend. If we can't, we'll do In a Violent Nature. So
okay.
Sound good to you, motherfuckers?
Yeah, I'll watch it again.
Okay, cool. Okay. Ken, you are wonderful. Brian, you are wonderful. I love the shit out of you too. So you want to pimp your shit, Miss Continue?
I would love to. Hi. I stream every day on Twitch at twitch.tv/continue. That's KINTINUE. Surprisingly enough, it's not continue, or continue, or whatever the fuck else. It's continue, but that's okay. I'll probably butcher your username when you come in anyway. Also, you can go to continue.com. There's a bunch of new stuff up on the Spicy site you should check out. And you're beautiful.
Brian, your stuff. What are you guys doing on?
I can't follow that nearly as charismatic as Ken did. You can find me on We're Gonna Make You Watch.
What are you guys doing? What's the next movie you guys are gonna make?
The next movie that just got uploaded for our listeners and or viewers is we made Warren watch The Fog.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. I love that movie.
Yeah,
I
we had a
didn't see
great
that
time.
a few years back, but I fucking love it. I dig it.
We made him watch the original, and we didn't put him through
Dude.
the Smallville version of it.
Oh, that I think I saw that version first, and I'm just like,
oh, that's unfortunate. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, but you know what? That made for a much better experience when you watch the original.
yeah. Oh yeah, then you're like, this is so
Yeah,
much
you're like,
better.
God dang, it was a fucking banger. And then you're like,
I'm excited to hear what Ken thinks about In a Violent Nature because
I'm excited to hear what Ken thinks about Prom Night 2, Hello Mary Lou, Boo Hoo, Cheeky Poo, Coo Coo Cachoo.
Okay.
That'll be fun.
You.
you could go to murdermoose.com and get merchandise and watch that. I don't know if I haven't been to the website since Josh stopped being on the show, so I don't know if he's uploading anything. I bet he isn't, but I don't fucking know. So I'm doing them, so you could go to YouTube and watch us there. And you can follow me on Twitter and Twitch at Rod_Johnson. So I'm there. So thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching, whatever. And we'll catch you guys next week for In a Violent Nature and or Long Legs. So Okay, you guys have a good one. Take it easy, and we love you. And bye.
Goodbye.